Hi, welcome to Sunshine's Secret of OC. I'm your host, Lisa Husher. Today we are going to dive into the magic of the divine, messages that heal, inspire, make us cry, make us laugh, hopefully not make us cry too much. But anyway, sit back and relax, and let's see what divine messages come through today. Today, I welcome our beautiful guest, Kristine Carlson, who is the co-author of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff with her late husband, Richard Carlson. Hi, Kristine.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice to have you and good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Before we get started in our beautiful interview and chat, I wanted to share something with you.
I love that.
You and I have had so many deep conversations about what happens when loved ones pass and signs that we see. And I had written a poem back when my mom had passed, and I think I was like 22 years old. And I speak about this a few times. When she passed, the night she passed, she came and sat on my bed in spirit and talked to me and shared with me about like what happens when you pass and about heaven. And we just have this whole in-depth conversation. A lot of it I've forgotten, but I did channel a poem, and I brought it with me today, and I printed it on this beautiful silver paper. This was back in my 20s. I printed it on this silver paper, and then the day of her funeral, I stood up and I read the poem, and then I also passed it out to everybody in the audience.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So I wanted to share it with you.
Thank
and I have to
you.
put my glasses on because the font is very tiny. This is from a long time ago. It's probably like a 9-point or something. I don't know, really small.
Did you channel this at that time, right, as she was passing, or did it come later after she passed?
So I believe the first night, and there's a little precursor to the story, the night she passed, I channeled the poem. And then it was either the same night later on in the night or the next night she came and sat with me.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
there's a phenomenon, a lot of people speak of when somebody passes, they have and this is what happened in the case of my mom, is they have a look of almost ecstasy. There's a smile, there's a pure feeling. You can see this ecstasy in their face, a joy, right, in their face. And so in my case, when my mom passed, I gave her, like we often do, where we give the person permission to pass and say, you know what, I'm going to be, I told my mom, I'm going to be fine. I'm taken care of. Go ahead. You can leave now. I love you. Don't worry about anything. So I did that. And then I went out. We were at the beach. So hence, I actually didn't even plan this, but I'm kind of wearing a beach outfit. So we were at the beach, and then I went out on the balcony and looked at the ocean, and I just did a little goodbye. I came in, she had passed. When she had passed, when I came in, she had a huge smile on her face. When I had left to go out, she didn't have that big smile, right? And so hence the title of the poem is called The Day I Put a Smile. So I want to read it.
Okay.
I'm going to try to read it in its entirety and not get choked up. So we're going to see how I do. It's called The Day I Put a Smile. The cancer spread like a treacherous flood through my body so tender and young. I could not fight the fear no more. The end was close, the door ajar. The fear of death kept me here, its long await deathly near. For all I know now is what death entails. Only what my painful life ails. No, I cried out, it's not my time. I want to keep what's rightly mine. My life, my family who cannot bear to see me at my life's despair. And then as quickly as the fear came on, it left with life. The light shone bright, it blinded my eyes, and there she was. It was no surprise. Her eyes shone bright in glory and gold as I looked face to face with my maternal mold. I felt her love and embraced it with glee. Here she is. I am finally free. Come, my dear, come with me. You will be safe. As you can see, everybody is here. We've been waiting for you. Vivian, she added, now you're brand new. I ran with delight up the great flight, and I looked at my family dealing with their plight. I winked at my mother, and I ran back down, and I said to myself, I must do something with that frown. The empty body lay surrounded by my family. That day I put a smile on that lifeless face, giving a clue to my new time and place. Much better, I thought, and I turned around. No one must see that unsightly frown. Now I am ready. I cried to the heavens. Over the water I quickly ascended. I am happy and at peace, my friends. No neck brace to keep me down at any ends. I am free as a bird, soaring through the sky. Thank you for my life. Thank you. Goodbye.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's really incredible. That's the first time you ever shared this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I shared it with my husband a few days ago as I dug it out of the files.
The people that were at her memorial?
Yes, and that was 1996.
Oh, well, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for joining me today. And that's something that I really wanted to have this discussion with you, because you've spoken about a few times about your experience after Richard passed.
Yeah.
And I would love for you to share with everyone not only the signs that you saw when Richard passed, but how your relationship evolved. You know, how did it change after he left? Could you, give us some insight to that, because I think it's so inspiring.
You know, I think one of the things that really prepped me to have that experience with Richard was that we had been on a very deep spiritual journey together from the time we were in college, just through our whole adult lives. So we had this opening and this idea that death wasn't going to be an end, that we would be able to communicate with each other. And one time he was in the bathtub, and I remember going in the bathroom and sitting with him. He had a bad back, and so sometimes he would soak. And I was sitting with him, and I asked him once, I said, if anything ever happens to one of us, do you think we'll find a way to communicate with each other from the other side? And he was like, oh yeah, most definitely. And so I think that really helped, that we were open and that we had that philosophy, that we understood that death wasn't the end, it was a transition, and that the body leaves, but the spirit lives on. And so my communication with Richard started very immediately. He died while on an airplane, and I have a story about that I would love to share.
Yes, please.
But I'll share that maybe in a minute. But he died on a flight, on the descent of a flight. He had a pulmonary embolism. And so it was very quick. And I could tell when I first heard that he had died, for the next 48 hours, I knew that he didn't know where he was. I could feel him around our house. In fact, my daughter Jazz was laying on the couch and the first night, and she woke up with a start because she felt her dad touch her face. Oh my gosh. And she thought, oh, good, this was just a horrible nightmare.
That's the same thing I felt with my mom that same night. I go, oh my God, you're here. Thank God. I thought, like, that was just a nightmare because it's so real.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Yeah, and that's what she felt. And I also had that. I could almost see his physical body walking through the house and this frustration on his face that why weren't we listening to him? And so I remember I went to our meditation room, and I sat and I just closed my eyes. And we had a guru at the time, and I just said, go find his feet, and he'll tell you what's happened, because I knew he didn't know where he was.
Oh, okay.
I knew he didn't know he was dead. Like, I knew he just didn't know. And then I felt this, because I could feel his anxiety, then I felt this peace come over me 24 hours later. I just felt this incredible peace, and I knew he knew where he was then. I knew that he knew that he was gone, at least from this body, you know. And but yeah, there were so many different experiences that I had. One really beautiful one started right away, and that is that he found a psychic medium that was connected to us through friends. And he started basically just knocking on her door. And she went to our friends and she said, do you guys know somebody passed recently? It's a man. And they're like, yes. And so she said, well, he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his family. He wants to say goodbye. And so she came over to our house 48 hours after he died, and all the women that were closest to me were in that bedroom. And she walked in, and she basically, she had messages for each of us. And for me, he said that he wanted me, she goes, I don't know what he did for a living. What did he do? She wants you to continue on. And I said, oh, he wants me to write. And she goes, yes, he wants you to continue writing. And then she said, he's saying you have all the qualities and everything that you need in order to carry on for him and to carry on the legacy of of the work. And so I felt this energy around me, and I could feel him holding me. And then from that moment on, I really understood that he was with me. I knew that he was with me, and I could really communicate with him. I had just so many crazy experiences.
Do you think part of it was because I see a similarity that you had the discussion before he passed? Because I feel like yours was, he was sudden. That was a sudden death.
Yeah.
Mine was where my mom was ill. But I did ask her, I said, when you leave, you're going to come back and we're going to chat and you're going to tell me what's it like over there. And she did all that. Yeah. So do you feel like having a discussion, just not knowing, but that he knew, okay, she's open to continuing, like I can get to her?
I just think that that's the kind of relationship we had. We were so close. And I just feel like that kind of connection doesn't die with the body.
Yeah.
It's such a loving connection. And I think when somebody passes, their big concern is, are my loved ones going to be okay? They kind of stay around us so that they know that we're going to be okay. And the more you ask them to be around, the more they are. But that doesn't mean that they're stuck, or doesn't mean that you have to stay in that position. It just means that there's a time period. I feel like their energy is really strong. They're still very much aware of their life here. And then there's a time when they expand and they have to be on their journey and you're on your journey. But I still feel him back whenever I call on him. I still feel his presence very strongly.
Yeah, especially with it when you were talking when you were talking about the psychic medium, and that you were all in the bedroom, and of course I knew he was a writer, so I'm already seeing things. But it's so interesting because, well, for me, like red symbolizes love, but I see like a red notebook. Well, I saw a red notebook, a red cover, and then lines and stuff. So that was showing me that he was saying to you, it was the bond that you have, the love, and then also to continue the writing. So I could see pictures when you were talking.
Yeah, he's still, he always, whenever I have a reading with a medium or something, he's always like, has all these book ideas for me.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, okay, you should check the URL out on that.
Yeah.
And see if that's taken before you give me that great title.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And you have a beautiful story too about when your daughter got married.
Yeah,
about signs, when like some people have, butterflies, some people birds. What is your connection? What is your sign connection with Richard?
Well, during the ceremony, there literally were hundreds of dragonflies, like hundreds. It just was the whole place and everybody noticed. It was just dragonflies just came, and they were just all over the place. So, and I just felt his presence so much. And it was kind of weird because she got married in Mount Shasta, and it was during a fire season. And when we were driving up to the mountain, my youngest daughter was with me, and she goes, oh my gosh, this is so sad. We're not going to be able to see the mountain. It's too smoky. And I said to her, oh no, your dad, he's going to do something. Like that's not going to be what happens. I said, it's going to be beautiful tomorrow. And sure enough, it rained at 2 a.m. and it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous day, and the mountain was just bright as ever. And it was just a perfect day. So I kind of knew that.
Yeah, you already knew. Yeah, don't worry.
Don't worry, it's all taken care of. Yeah.
That's so amazing. People have these incredible stories, just about, all like, in the nature, like the mountain or like a dragonfly or something that was gonna, it's supposed to be a storm and then all of a sudden it's sunny out, It's just these miracles.
Yeah, I think one of the things that really helped me as I started to evaluate, more, how do you ask, how do you get more information from them? I realized you have to ask. You have to physically ask. And if you want signs from your loved one, you really need to just sit down and ask them for a sign. And then you have to be really present and aware of when one comes. I was going to tell you this incredible story that happened to me. It was 2 years after Richard died, and the girls and I were coming back from Eugene, Oregon to San Francisco on a very small flight. It's a really short flight. And we were leaving my parents' 50th wedding anniversary party. And when we got to the ticket counter, the ticket agent said, you guys aren't seated together. And I said, oh, that's okay. They're teenagers. They're fine. And he said, oh, no, I want to put you together. So he rearranged our seats on the flight. So we were seated in new seats on the flight, but they were next to me. Well, the window seat was open, and so this man walked up. And when this man walked up to, get in his seat, I had like this weird feeling, and I had chills come up and down my spine. And my girl started giggling, and I thought that was weird. Like I was, what's going on here? When he sat down, I had this really strong feeling that I had to talk to him. And it was overwhelming. Like I was like, I have to talk to this man.
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah. And then he said he pulled his laptop out and he started working. And so of course I wasn't going to be that person, so I quieted down. But on the descent of the flight, he put his computer away. So I said, was this a work day for you? And he goes, oh yeah. He's like, I'm so sorry. I would have loved to have chatted. And I go, no, it's okay. He goes, what about you? I noticed you have your computer. And I said, well, I'm a writer, so technically it could be a work day any day. And he said, oh, have you been published? And I said, well, you might be most familiar with my late husband's work, Richard Carlson. He wrote Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And the guy just got visibly, like, he sat back and he just got visibly, like, ruffled. I go, what? Did you know him? And he's like, no. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, did he die on a flight to JFK a little over 2 years ago? And I said, yeah, how did you know it was JFK? And he said, because I was seated directly behind him on that flight.
No.
I was the first to assist. He goes, I helped lift his body out of the seat. And he said, I always wanted to tell you that your husband looked very, very peaceful when he died. And I was just like,
did you fall over or
I
what?
burst into tears because my deepest desire was to know somebody who had been on that flight with him. Oh my gosh. And I burst into tears. The girls are like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, and I said, what are the chances of this? And he goes, there's no chances of this meeting. He's like, there's no chances. And that was it. But it was such a healing moment for me and such a miracle. Like true miracle.
Yeah, you never know, right? No. You never
But
know.
you have to honor those deep feelings that you have. If I hadn't talked to him or that guy at the ticket counter hadn't rearranged our seats, that never would have happened. So he had to honor his really strong feeling that we needed to be seated together. I had to honor my really strong feeling that I had to have this conversation with this man. So it's kind of it was a very beautifully, divinely orchestrated meeting.
That is such a beautiful story, and it's such a testament too. Is the things that I've been discussing with people and sharing and pushing really is like to follow your intuition, to follow that gut instinct, that pull, that feeling. Yeah. The more you follow that, the more that it leads you and guides you, and it led them to connect with you. It just connects us all. We're all connected.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And those feelings are, you have to be very present to honor those though. Like you can't be on your phone, you have to be listening deeply inside yourself.
Present.
Yeah. Present.
Present. Yeah.
When you're very present and super engaged, you don't miss the nuances of the moment. And it's those nuances that can be incredibly informative.
That's amazing. That's the first time I've ever heard that story.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with
you're
me.
welcome.
And so, like, fast forward now, you're doing all these amazing things, and I know from your Instagram, and you're going on this incredible retreat. You're taking these women. How many women to Italy are you taking?
Right now I have 12, but that's actually a pretty nice, sweet number. I mean, I could take 2 more women, but I like to keep my groups at around anywhere from, 12 to 15, 18 women, just to keep them nice and intimate.
So how often? So this one's coming up. I think you said this one's full, right? Or do you have any spots?
September. I mean, I could take 1 or 2 more women, but
What's the
I
date
could
again?
say- I know, right?
Can you fit me in the?
I know, right? We'll make you work.
Yeah, that's fine. I will work for Italy.
Yeah,
I will
so
serve.
fun.
I will pour the wine. Thank you very much. It's
So
a
fun.
how many days?
It's a week
Okay.
long retreat. So, yeah, we do yoga, we go on excursions, we do what I call wisdom circles with women more so they can deeply connect with each other. And yeah, it's always a really fun retreat. I do about, I don't know, 4 to 6 women's retreats a year.
Okay.
So different kinds of retreats. I do a writing retreat in Mount Shasta. I do a retreat that's based on my reinvention program called What Now. I do that on the coast in Sea Ranch. So yeah, they're fun. It's one of the great loves of my life is leading women's retreats.
And so the easiest way for our viewers to connect with you, would it be to go to your Instagram and see, or your website?
Probably
or
my website. That's where I have my retreat schedule, and yeah, it would be KristineCarlson.com.
Okay,
with
that's
a K.
easy to remember. And we'll print that also. We'll
Yeah.
have that written out.
Thanks.
The bottom
Yeah,
of the
it's
episode.
it's really fun.
Well, I look forward to us taking a photo at one of your beautiful Italian vineyard / sound bath / retreat.
So fun.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing all your wisdom and your beautiful stories and allowing me to share with you too.
Oh,
for the first
Lisa,
time.
you're wonderful. Yeah,
appreciate
I've
it.
enjoyed having the readings that we've done together, and you're very special, and thank you for
you.
your insight and the work that you're doing, and it's very healing.
Thank you. I feel the same about you.
Thank you.
All right.